Have you ever been in a conversation where you could just tell the other person wasn't really listening? They were just waiting for their turn to talk. Huh?
Well, we've all been guilty of that, right? But here's the thing. Real listening is a superpower that can deepen relationships, build trust, and even improve your leadership skills. So stay with us as we share 4 key tips to help make you a better listener.
Hey there, welcome to Group X Appeal. I'm Kimberly Springglick.
And I'm Terry Shorter. We're excited to bring you this hot and sweaty podcast.
With over 25 years of experience each in the health and fitness industry, we're here to share hilarious, heartwarming stories from our lives and careers.
And offer practical nutrition tips, expert exercise advice, and strategies for holistic well-being and a positive mindset.
Group X Appeal is your go-to source for inspiration, motivation, and a few laughs along the way.
So tune in and let us help you be the healthiest, happiest version of you.
As Stephen Covey said, most people do not listen with the intent to understand. They listen with the intent to reply.
I've done that before. I'm just being honest.
It's true.
Well, today we're going to be breaking down how to be the kind of listener that people love to talk to. I'm Terry Shorter. This is
Kimberly Springglick.
And we're here with Group X Appeal, and we're so happy that you made it to listen. Here's 4 simple, very implementable tips to be that listener again that people love to talk to. And I'd have to say the very first one is embrace the power of silence.
But we're talking about talking.
Right. So just be quiet while I explain this to you.
So what he's talking about is the power of him silencing me. Okay, it's cool. It's cool.
Well, just before responding, one of the key things that you'll want to do is just take a moment, just a simple moment, if needed, to process. After someone has made a statement or if they've asked a question, perhaps, take a beat or 2 beats or 5 seconds. If you need to take 20 seconds, just taking that pause just allows you to kind of think about how, not just to process, but how to come back with a response that is mindful, that has intention behind it. And it just really stops reactive replies and just creates space for real listening.
Absolutely.
Right? Viktor Frankl said, and this is something that Kimberly shared with me, he once said, between every action and reaction, there's space.
There is.
Right? Mm-hmm. And so what would be some of the techniques that you've ever used to kind of take that pause, take that moment, create that space in a conversation? Is there any particular thing that you do?
Yeah, I think the first thing for me is back to the Stephen Covey quote is making sure that I'm not in my head forming the reply. Because if you're in your head forming the reply, chances are as soon as they stop talking, it's like, oh, now's my chance.
Yeah. Ooh, jump in.
And you jump in.
Right.
So that's step one. And then honestly, it's taking a deep breath. It's as simple as that.
Sure.
And if I feel like it's going to be longer than maybe a moment or two, then I will probably say something like, you know what, I just want to process what you said or want to process what you asked. Coaching has given me a lot of opportunity to practice the whole silence is golden thing.
Right.
It's really helpful in all conversations, for sure. What do you think?
Well, I think, I was never a salesperson. I didn't like the label of being a salesperson at all. But one of the techniques that I always loved, and it has served me, I think, pretty well, and it allows me to kind of create that space, is if someone asks a question, I'll take a moment and say, that's a great question, and I appreciate you asking. And then it allows me to kind of respond after that. So that's my pretty canned response, but of course it'll differ and vary depending upon the situation.
Have you used that on me?
Never have I used that on you.
Now we know, everybody.
But what was your question again?
I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Your Honor. So just taking a moment, and for some people, it's difficult. For me, it was very difficult at first. I felt like I had to jump in really fast and respond quickly. But taking that moment, it really is golden. So
when we talked about this deepening relationships, the other cool thing about taking the moment and honoring silence, sometimes it's not about just wanting to jump in with a reply.
Right.
Sometimes it's just being able to share that bit of silence and creating a level of comfort with the other person where you don't feel like you have to fill every moment with words.
Right.
But being comfortable enough with the person you're with, or creating enough of a comfort level that you can let the silence speak for itself sometimes.
For sure. Yeah, I think jumping in without intention, without that space, without that silence, sometimes can be abrasive.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Can be abrasive. And then also, we talked about this offline, by taking that moment of silence. Let's say if it's a conversation that perhaps gets heated, right? Taking that moment of silence also takes the emotion out of the conversation, the unwanted or undesirable emotion as well.
Kind of diffuse a little.
Yeah, absolutely. So it just works in so many great instances, and so it truly is golden. Thanks for sharing that idea or that quote.
Absolutely. So I have another tip for you, and that is to mirror and validate. So when you're having a dialogue with someone, especially if they're trying to explain a thought that they have or a way that they're feeling, repeat back to them. You could either do it in a way that you are paraphrasing, so kind of say back to them what they said, but in your own words.
Sure.
Or if they shared maybe a big long story, maybe you more kind of summarize, bring it into a nugget. But either way, you're kind of mirroring back to them what they shared with you. And that lets them know that you're tracking with them, that you understand what they're saying and where they're coming from. You might say something like, so what I'm hearing is, or what I understand you to say is, it makes people feel really seen.
Sure.
And I think that the validation as well, we all love to be affirmed, especially if we're in, dialogue or conversation, communication with those that we care about and that we have a relationship with, be it friends, family, etc. To be able to kind of validate what the other person is thinking, how they're feeling, taking the time to not only mirror, like, okay, I get it, and then also to validate, to affirm,
Right.
like, maybe I've been there before, or it makes sense that you would feel that way, or, whatever the case may be, giving them support in whatever it is they're thinking or how they're feeling.
Sure. And I think to add to that, I think in a conversation, you can get a really good sense or a really good feel of the type of learner someone is through the language that they're using. So for example, if you said, Terry, I'm feeling like this, and this, and then my response would be, I know exactly how you feel, right? I have felt the same way, so aligning with them.
Yep.
And because of that, this is how I feel as well. So kind of mirroring them by the type of learner they are just through their language. Or if they say, I'm hearing that you're doing this, this, and that. I know exactly, what you mean. I'm hearing the same thing. So using the same language, mirroring, definitely helps to align and not necessarily redirect, but just be on the same page with them and make them feel validated, like you said, even further and on the same page.
And then, of course, the beautiful words everyone loves to hear if you're in conversation and you're not feeling like you have enough information to mirror them properly, to kind of summarize back to them what they said. There's always the tell me more.
Yeah.
So you can always dig a little deeper, seek more clarity and understanding.
Sure. Absolutely. Never hurts to ask, right? So the third tip, and I think all of us have been guilty of this at some
I'm sorry,
level.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Is put the device down.
What? Huh?
Put the device
shoot. I'm
down.
sorry. Yeah.
So we're so distracted, right, by our mobile phones. You made it clear, Apple, our watches as well.
Watches
our
now.
Smart watches.
Right?
Right, our tablets. And we really do underestimate how much screens steal our presence.
Absolutely.
Right? Being here in the moment. And so, especially when someone's talking, give them your full attention. No scrolling, no looking down with your eyes buried in the screen at all.
Yeah.
Just put it aside, turn it off, flip it over, just so it's out of hands reach, so you can really be present and in the moment with the person that you're having that conversation with. I think when people see that, I think there's a lot of value in that. When they see that you literally physically put your phone away, maybe put in your purse, put in your back pocket, just completely out of sight.
Yeah.
I think they appreciate that.
And I think that in today's day, it's so rare that it will really stand out if you do that.
Oh, yeah.
If you choose in a conversation with someone you care about to be so fully present that even if like you had your phone, you turned it over.
Yeah.
And have the focus be on the person that you're sharing the conversation with. It almost could be kind of I've been in that scenario where it's a bit of a shock to the system. And I'm like, the phone hasn't even come out, or,
Right.
and it's wonderful
It
just
is.
to know that person is fully present for you. And so
Right.
I want to be able to do that for everyone I'm in conversation with
Same.
and care about. So that's
Same.
definitely one I'm going to make sure I keep on my radar.
There you go. Awesome. Me too. Big commitment. And I think I can't remember what episode it was. That was something that we did as our daughter was growing up. We had
Yeah.
our Tawny time.
Oh, yeah,
right?
yeah. I
And
remember
we
you saying that.
Got all the devices out of, without out of hand's reach. So that way we can really be present with her and focus on her.
I love that.
Yeah.
So we're going to keep trying to do our best with that. Pinky
Yes.
swear.
Let's go. Pinky square.
It's the wrong hand. There we go.
There it is. We got it.
All right. So one more tip for you. This is a big one. And that is, of course, to listen with your whole body. So you may...
Lean in.
So lean in. So you may or may not know this, but only 7% of what someone hears from you comes through the actual words that are spoken. 38% come from the tone of your voice, and 55% comes from body language. Terry even brought up this awesome little chart here, and it's Dr. Albert Mehrabian that came up with this. So if you think about it, we're so focused on the words that we want to say and communicate, we forget that 93% of what's actually going to be communicated doesn't come from the words at all. So make sure you're giving some affirmation, physical affirmation. Maybe it's just like Terry just nodded because he's following along. He's like, yes, Kimberly, I understand.
I got you.
Eye contact, leaning in, like Terry mentioned before. These nonverbal cues are so powerful. Your body language being open. As opposed to closed off when you're in conversation, and showing through your physicality that you're fully present, you're fully engaged, and you're invested in the conversation. It's so powerful.
Oh yeah, a little bit goes a long way. I didn't realize that 55% is body language. That's a lot.
It's a lot.
That's a lot.
It's a whole lot.
You almost don't have to say a single word.
Sometimes.
Right.
Well, wait, I've been in that scenario.
And I'm okay with that. I'm totally okay with that.
We can make that happen.
Absolutely. So those are 4 basic tips. First, embracing the power of silence, mirroring and validating, put the device down, and of course, listening with your entire body, right? So 4 simple tips we can start practicing like right now, right away.
Pinky swears.
Pinky swear, give it to us, give it to us. But we'd love to know, what's the best piece of advice you've ever received just by truly listening, right? Please share it in the comments.
Yeah.
Tag someone who's an amazing listener. We'd love to hear that.
Let us know who's an amazing listener.
Well, first of all, we would tag you because you've been listening. You made it this far into the podcast, into this episode. So we're tagging you. Bam.
Bam. You have been tagged.
So any other tips or any other requests that we can make?
I think we're going to leave it at those 4 tips.
Yeah.
And as far as requests, just keep tuning in. Wherever it is you tune in, you might be on one of the podcast. I'm very British sometimes.
You and your fanny.
But
Got it.
that's right. What episode number was that? So whatever podcast
There we go.
platform you might be on, keep tuning in.
Yes.
Download away, share. If you're on YouTube and you're watching us be all silly on video, this is where you can definitely put comments, share your questions. And then, of course, over on social media, primarily Instagram, that's where you can definitely comment on any of our posts or message us and let us know if you have questions or topics you'd like us to cover. And we are on it.
Yes, we are. So that is it for today. We truly, truly appreciate you listening to the art of active listening. I'm Terry Shorter.
I'm Kimberly Springglick.
And we really encourage you to make it a great day. And why?
Because it is a great day to have.
Yes, it is.
Much love.